Hey guys, HDvee here. Now, over the course of this channel, I've uploaded a lot of videos going over the Pokemon anime, Pokemon theories, Pokemon history, and much more. And so today, I wanted to change it up and make a more personal kind of video. Now, we all played Pokemon as a kid. However, it's fair to say that a few of us did a couple of silly things whilst travelling through the various regions. Whether that be following made up glitches all the way to habits that we personally created which didn't actually have any effect on the game. With that being said, today's video goes over 5 dumb things that I personally did playing Pokemon as a kid. Don't hesitate to drop a comment down below about the video and if you found it interesting or not. Don't forget to leave a like on this video too to show your support, and I'll be sure to bring out a new video very shortly. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already to keep up to date, and follow my Twitter to hear updates about the channel. Now, without further ado, let's get into the video, and I really hope that you enjoy. Okay, so coming in at the number 5 spot in today's top 5 video is having my starter as the highest level all the time. Like, even in a bad gym. The most obvious thing that I can remember about this is when I had a Wartortle in Pokemon Leaf Green and Fire Red, and I literally just kept leveling him up all the time. He was just having a great time, you know, he was always at the front of my party, grabbing that experience from everyone else. And even though like it was weak against both Lieutenant Surge and Erica, the 3rd and 4th gyms in the Kanto region, I still leveled him up to the most because for some reason I always had to have my star Pokemon as my strongest Pokemon, and so he just kept getting like destroyed every single time. I think I actually had like a Blastoise by the time I beat Erica, which a level 36 Blastoise by the end of the 4th gym is pretty early to have like such a strong Pokemon. So yeah, I even though it was stupid, I think I had like a Pidgeotto in the back as well for the Erica, but I still just didn't use him because, you know, my Wartortle had to shine, had to destroy them all, and you know, it was a bit unfortunate. I spent so many hours grinding up my Wartortle just to try and beat Erica. It didn't even like, I didn't even know. It was just so stupid, and for some reason I kept doing that for like years, like really bad. I did that from all the way from like Red and Blue all the way up to like Fire Red and Leaf Green, and then I was just kept starting to think like, why am I doing this? So, you know, then I started to be a little bit smarter and actually using like type advantages and stuff. But yeah, always having my starter as the highest level is, you know, one of the dumbest things that I did as a kid. Okay, so coming in at the number 4 spot is falling asleep, so the battery died and I lost my progress. So this is the story. Basically, every time like I'd go to bed before school the next day, I'd get out my Game Boy Advance and I'd play some Pokemon and just, you know, just get a couple of hours in before I could had to go to sleep. And the biggest story that I remember about this is that I was playing Pokemon Emerald and I had my Aaron and I was trying to evolve it into a Lairon. And I was at the 5th gym, and I was Norman's gym, your dad in the games, and obviously he has like normal types and stuff like that. So I thought, oh, it'd probably be a good idea to get Aaron up a couple of levels. So what I did was I kept leveling him up, and he was like level 25 at the time. I think Lairon evolved at like level 30, 31 or 32 or something like that. But I kept leveling up, and it takes hours to grind. When you got like no speed up button and it's just wild Pokemon, it takes a long time to grind up, and Aaron's not the easiest Pokemon to grind up. So I got him up all the levels, finally evolved into a Lairon, but I was super tired, and I think I fell asleep before saving the game, and so I woke up in the morning, to my horror, turned on my Game Boy Advance, obviously wouldn't turn on, put the charger in, and then turned it back on, and realized because obviously I hadn't saved it, I went all the way back to my previous state. So like all that 2 hours of grinding just completely, you know, out of the blue, just gone, and I was literally just stuck with my level 25 Aaron again. You know, I was so devastated. Plus I had school as well that day, so it's just, you know, probably the worst day of my life, really, let's be honest. So yeah, so forgetting to save and falling asleep playing Pokemon is definitely one of the hardest memories of playing Pokemon that I did as a kid. Okay, so coming in at the number 3 spot is never using stat changing moves, because I pretty much thought they were worthless. I didn't really know until probably Fire Red and Leaf Green again that they actually did something, because back in Pokemon Red and Blue, obviously I was a really little kid at this time when I started playing these games, so all I remember doing was, you know, in the start battle at the start, I'd probably choose Charmander all the time, and then obviously so my rival would choose Squirtle, and I'd be scratching away doing that damage, and then Squirtle would be taking the hits, but he'd be using I think Leer does, or Growl or something like that, and Squirtle was using that on me, and I didn't even realise that my attacks were doing like less damage or his attacks were doing more damage. I just kept hitting away, and yeah, I don't know why I never seemed to use Ground Leer, because obviously when I did use it, I used it like once at the start, and then I was like, oh, it did literally nothing, why would I waste my time using these moves? So whenever my opponent used it on me, I was like, yeah, sweet, you just wasted your turn, not knowing that full well he was actually whittling me down, and that actually cost me quite a few big battles, and I just couldn't get my head around it. I remember just like asking my brother, he didn't know, and I was just wondering, like, why is it like when they use these, like halfway through the battle, my Pokemon just seem to get weaker? I was like, is it that my Pokemon infected or something like that? I just had no idea. And then I realized, like, obviously stat changes were actually a thing, and Growl and Leer and Screech and all that stuff was actually quite useful. So I started using it, and yeah, it really like changed the way I play Pokemon, because before I was just all out power, like do as much damage as you can before you faint, send in my next Pokemon, more damage, pow, you know how it is, and yeah, so it's not until like Fire Red Leaf Green again where I realized. So yeah, but only using never using stat changes moves because I thought they were worthless is definitely one of the dumbest things I did as a kid. Okay, so coming in at the number 2 spot is quite funny actually, because obviously we've just been speaking about stat changes and stuff. Looking at the stats, I didn't actually know that speed was a thing. I thought it was just there for display. So when choosing an attack, I pressed the button as quick as I could, because I thought the faster I pressed the button, I'd have a bigger chance that I would move first. So you can see how badly this works. Obviously when you're in a Pokemon battle and you send your Pokemon out and they send theirs out, you take your time, you like work out in your head, okay, this Golbat's weak to electricity, so I'll use an electric attack. But when you're trying to do it as quick as you can, and he sends out a Golbat and I'm sending out my Pikachu, I'll just like quickly choose the quickest move that I can. Like I'll press anything as quickly as I can, so I'd use like Quick Attack or something. And it really did cost me a lot of battles because I was doing it so quickly. I was just getting destroyed, and then when I was getting outsped, like pretty much all the time, because I was trying to outspeed, I don't know, like a Kabutops with a Metapod. I don't know when they'd ever come up in a fight, but that's just an example. And like when I'd always be getting outsped and getting destroyed, I was like, am I still not doing it fast enough? What am I doing wrong? And yeah, and it wasn't again till like, I think Fire Red and Leaf Green were really like, probably not Fire and Leaf Green to be fair, probably like Ruby and Sapphire was where my Pokemon knowledge actually kicked in and I stopped being such an idiot and I started learning the ways of the Pokemon. But yeah, not knowing speed was a thing really cost me a lot of big battles, and it even cost me a couple of battles with my friends as well, and that's how I found out. They told me that, what are you doing, why are you clicking it so fast? And I was like, oh, because I got to get that higher chance of outspeeding your Pokemon. And they're like, no, look at this speed stat, that's where it's at. And I was like, oh my god, you know, my life just flashed before my eyes and everything happened. But yeah, and not knowing speed was a thing is definitely one of the dumbest things I did as a kid playing Pokemon. Okay, so finishing off today's video and claiming the number 1 spot is something that I think we're all, you know, we all have a story about, and it's wasting your Master Ball. And my story is a little bit more intense than just wasting your Master Ball. When people usually say wasting your Master Ball, they usually mean like accidentally using it on like a Pidgey or a Pokemon that you wouldn't really catch a Pokemon in a Master Ball with. No, you see, that's kind of wasting your Master Ball. I can see where you're coming from. I actually wasted my Master Ball though. The story behind this is I was playing Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, and there is a part in the games where it's like the battle tower or the battle something. It's where you go up against, like, it's like the battle tree, it's where you just go up against trainers. You can do like single battles, double battles, stuff like that. And in Fire Red and Leaf Green, there is a certain double battle where you go against these 2 sisters, I think, these 2 young kids, and they have a Jolteon and an Espeon. And Espeon at the time was one of my favourite Pokemon, but this Espeon in particular, I think it is every single game, was actually shiny. This was the first shiny I ever saw, and so I was like, what is going on there? What's wrong with that Espeon? It's a bit, like, because it was green, I thought it was like sick or something, I don't know. But it obviously sparkled at the start, and I was like, oh my god, that Espeon looks really cool, I've got to have it. But even though I knew that you couldn't catch like trainers Pokemon, I thought the Master Ball was an exception. So when I saw this shiny Espeon, I was like, that's mine, I've got my eyes on you. Threw my Master Ball, and then obviously the little girl trainer just slapped my Master Ball away, and that was it. I just lost my Master Ball. Like, I literally wasted it. I didn't catch it. I didn't even catch a Pidgey with it. And because you're probably saying, like, why didn't you just turn the game off and on? Well, I was so far into this like battle thing that I didn't want to lose all my progress, so I just, you know, I just sucked it up and just didn't turn it off, and I just lost my Master Ball. And to this day, I don't think I've ever had a shiny Espeon, and it is something that haunts my dreams, losing my Master Ball that early on. So yeah, you can say wasting your Master Ball on a Pokemon is wasting it, but no, I actually wasted my Master Ball on a shiny Espeon. I mean, if I caught it, it would have made my childhood, but that little girl slapping the ball away definitely ruined it. But yeah, so wasting my Master Ball definitely takes the #1 spot in today's top 5 video. But with that, wraps up this video. I really hope you enjoyed it as much as I did making it. If you did enjoy the video though, please leave a like, I'd really appreciate it. Like I said at the start of the video, I would also love to hear your guys' opinions too on this subject, so be sure to leave them in the comment section below. I have a couple of top 5s coming onto your screen in a second, so be sure to give them a watch if you have the time, and also subscribe if you like my content. That's everything from me though, so thanks for watching guys, have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next video.